7:59 and change here on this Wednesday morning. You're locked into breakfast television. Time for us to turn our attentions to the stories making headlines this morning. And for the first time in 14 years, health officials have declared a measles outbreak in our province. Now, this affects three areas: the Edmonton, Calgary, and Central zones. In all, there have been 22 confirmed cases to date. 2 of those were children in our area under 12 months of age. That has prompted AHS to reverse policy and open vaccinations to infants between 6 months and 1 year of age. All of this was prompted after the illness began popping up in a rather large number of locations.
We have been seeing an unusual number of measles in our communities, and some of those cases were not related to travel outside of our zone at all, but rather people became ill with measles while just working and living in the Edmonton zone. That means that measles is circulating here.
Children aged 4 and older are encouraged to receive their second dose of the vaccine as soon as possible. The most recent measles outbreak in Alberta was declared back in 2000. Former Guantanamo Bay detainee Omar Khadr is back in an Edmonton court this morning. His lawyer is trying to convince the Alberta Court of Appeal that Khadr's 8-year prison term should be recognized as a youth rather than an adult sentence. Dennis Edney claims Khadr's detention in an Edmonton maximum security institution was illegal because he was 15 when the crimes were committed. He wants the 8-year sentence to cover all 5 counts of war crimes, while the government argues it is 5 concurrent 8-year sentences. An Edmonton father has pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the death of his infant daughter. One of the twin girls, known as Baby M, died in 2012 after being starved, abused, and neglected while in his custody. The court heard details Tuesday of the abuse, including reports of multiple injuries and bruises on the twins. The father, who could not be identified, also pleaded guilty to aggravated assault and 2 counts of failing to provide the necessities of life. A sentencing date has not been set. Meanwhile, the mother's case on similar charges is set to go to trial in late May. There will be no reprieve for lead-footed drivers on Scona Road. Councillor Brian Anderson raised a motion Tuesday to increase the speed limit on the route. He pushed for it to be raised to 60 kilometers an hour from its current 50. City research had found that 80% of drivers were going over the posted limit, but neighborhood residents feared the extra speed could put them in danger, while other critics said a boost would make it appear that the city endorses speeding. In the end, that motion was defeated by a slim 7-6 margin.
It was unfortunate that it became kind of the example for a whole bunch of other stuff. We need to take the opportunity we have to get people to slow down, which is all the community is asking for. If it saves one person from getting seriously hurt, that's worth it to me.
The debate also spurred talk on photo radar, which is frequently used on Scona Road. That debate set to go before council in July. The NDP will soon have its first new leader in a decade.
I feel confident that I'm leaving the party in a strong position and that we're ready to tackle the challenges that lie ahead.
Brian Mason will step down after 10 years at the NDP helm. A new leader is slated to be chosen at a party convention on October 18th and 19th. Mason believes a new leader will best position the party to make gains in the next provincial election. And Brian Mason will sit down with Ryan Jesperson for a live interview in our BT studios coming up at 8:10. Well, he's not officially declaring his intentions, but some have already hailed Jim Prentice as the savior of the Progressive Conservative Party. Not the Wild Rose, though. Party leader Danielle says even if the high-profile Prentice is selected as the Conservative leader in September, it is still the same old Tory party. She says Prentice is cut from the same cloth as embattled former Premier Alison Redford.
If you're beholden to the insiders, because the insiders are the ones who recruited you, and the insiders are the ones who are running your campaign, you are not going to be a change agent. So I think that Mr. Prentice has already got off on the wrong foot. I quite frankly do not think that there is going to be any change of direction should he become the leader.
Prentice is expected to announce he is entering the race next week. Public workers at a French language assisted living facility showing their frustrations with the province. Members of AUP from St. Thomas's Healthcare Centre rallied in front of MLA David Dorward's office yesterday. are protesting the recent decision by the facility's management to contract out nursing and support staff to cut costs beginning in June. In addition to the lost jobs, they fear there will be a drop in the quality of service at the residence.
We want to speak with the MLA and see if there's anything he can do to expedite. We have sent copies of letters to the Auditor General to see why this company is having such financial mismanagement, and asking them and the Alberta Health Services auditors to do something about this. This company is paid to provide services by Alberta Health Services.
Doord is currently out of the country, but did speak to the union reps over the phone. He says he's willing to meet in person upon his return. Well, that nicer weather means more attention is being paid to our area's grassy fields, but not necessarily for the reasons you might think. A grass fire yesterday forced the closure of one lane of Highway 16. Hotter, drier conditions often spur a rash of fires in early spring. A grass fire was on the side of the road, and eastbound lanes near Atchison were reduced to a single lane as a result of the poor visibility. A fire, though, was quickly brought under control. No word on what may have sparked it.